Romans 8, verses 5 through 6 says this: Those who live according to the sinful nature have their minds set on what that nature desires. But those who live in accordance with the Spirit have their minds set on what the Spirit desires. The mind controlled by the sinful nature is death, but the mind controlled by the Spirit is life and peace. If you recognize that you have a problem with worry and that it hinders your relationship with God, not to mention your life mission and purpose in response to God's grace, you probably want to change. You may think that the best way to stop worrying is simply to exercise greater self discipline and willpower. Both tools can help us change our habits. But the most powerful thing we can do is allow God to change what we believe about Him. If we're going to turn away from worry, we need to treat the heart of the problem. And the heart of the problem is our theology. And here's why. A new perspective can have tremendous transformative power in our lives. Guard your heart above all else, the wisdom of Proverbs tells us, for it determines the course of your life. Jesus made this point in Matthew, the 15th chapter, verses 17 through 20. And Paul emphasizes this concept several times in his letters, including when he describes the way Christ changes his followers by first changing our minds. Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way that you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. It's amazing how a shift of God's truth can change our perspective. Changing our theology or embracing a more impressive view of God based on what God has revealed through Scripture can transform us emotionally. Embracing worry rather than trust ultimately comes down to a lack of recognizing our true place in the world. Like Adam and Eve, we want to believe we are capable of more than we are and in control of more than we can possibly handle. An inflated view of ourselves doesn't leave enough room for the truth about God and our dependence on God. We need to reorient ourselves with a proper perspective of who we are, who God is, and why only God is worthy of our trust. What is your perspective today? Are you worrying more than you're trusting? There's power in our perspective. God is in control of everything. All we have to do is lean not to our own understanding, change our perspective, add a little self-discipline, and we're in the right place. What is your mind thinking on today? Does the world have control, or does the word have control? The power of perspective is key to a victorious life. The power of perspective is the key to the more abundant life that God has promised us. But we have to change our minds. Think about that today. Are you worrying more than you're trusting? The power of perspective. Be blessed and have a good day.